So what motivated? Okay, so you what motivated? Like I know that Z Classic died for a little bit because you went off, you stopped working on it because there's no reason for you to work on it. What brought you back? Like why did you come back then with this whole Bitcoin private project? What motivated you to come back to Z Classic?
Yeah, so I guess to me, I feel like we're all in this big experiment, and we're all kind of learning what works. And I've gotten some things right and some things wrong a lot, but one of the early experiments in sort of airdropping coins was this coin called Aurora coin, and what was it? It was Iceland.
It was Iceland. Yeah.
So for people who don't know, Aurora coin there was some electronic database, and they were able to give everyone who was an Iceland citizen some crypto. And it was years ago, a great experiment, and it went up to like a very high, $100, $200 a coin or something.
Yeah.
Right, and then it collapsed because everyone was like, oh, I can get free money, and it went down to like 10 cents or something, right? And I thought maybe that's what happens when you airdrop a coin. Maybe that you're right. And then
that people immediately dump it and it goes to zero.
It's free money. Just dump it and then buy. And that's
Sure.
what a lot of people thought you should do with Bitcoin Cash. Dump it and buy the real Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
That was a lot of people were saying that. And in the case of Bitcoin Cash came out, and we saw that didn't happen. But also they were different. They had a lot of support from some really big influencers. And I thought, okay, well, maybe Bitcoin Cash is a little special, right?
Yeah.
But then the shocking thing was Bitcoin Gold.
Yeah.
And
which is really nothing.
And it's really bad, right? And Bitcoin Gold had a pre-mine. They had this pre-mine. And I looked at it, and I almost tried to do the same thing with Bitcoin Gold. If you go through my Twitter, actually it's so funny because they did this 8,000 block pre-mine. And all you had to do is one variable. It's the variable is BTC pre-mine window, right? Variable. And I was like, wait, if you change that 8,000 to a 0, there's no pre-mine anymore. So I took just like with Zcash, I took the pre-mine out of Bitcoin Gold and announced it. And then and now everybody was tweeting at me. They're like, "Oh, are you gonna do this? Are you gonna make like free Bitcoin?" But the project was just so bad. I was like, "It's not even worth it."
Yeah.
I don't even want to follow up on this. Like,
you don't want to attach your name to it.
I don't even want to make the free Bitcoin Gold.
If you did that, you would be known as the guy that keeps removing the funding from all the projects.
Right. I kind of got known for that, right?
Yeah. Projects are starving for funding, and you come along and, nah, you guys don't need this money.
Sorry, guys. Like, that's right.
Work off of your merit.
Right. But actually, it was interesting. I mean, I went to their Slack channel and just observed what was going on, and it was funny because it was just amazing to see
Let's keep it PG-13, okay?
It was just amazing to see, let's just put it this way. It was just like regular people.
Yeah.
They decided what they wanted. What was important to them was they wanted GPU-friendly Bitcoin mining, and they wanted their pre-mine, and they were pretty open about it, and they're like, this is what it is, right? And you look at it today, and it's worth 2% of a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that's, about $250 to $300. And that
that changed your view that you could airdrop and it would not go to zero, right?
Right. And it also, I don't know what the exact mechanism is. I think that what the market is trying to tell people is, maybe there's some advantage where, if Bitcoin mining is ASIC driven, maybe that hurts the community, and a GPU driven version might have some advantage to start taking market share at some point, right? Maybe that's.
I think that there's this thing in the blockchain space where people need to feel that it's fair. There's this mentality that things have to be fair, and if it's not fair, right, and anything that you come out with that's more fair than what's before it, like you did with the Z Classic. Hey, I'm taking away the 20%. Founders allocation there and make it fair for everyone, then the community likes that. I don't know why, but for some reason we've noticed that in the blockchain space that people like this concept of being fair.
Well, that's human psychology too, right? So people don't actually have like there's this big problem of wealth inequality, right? But most people, that's actually not what they are would upset them. What upsets people is if it's unfair, if the system's rigged, right? Then you feel like it's unfair. But if there's some way that it's fair and everyone has an opportunity to become wealthy, people aren't as upset about that, right? And so I think it's just like human psychology. Like we understand what fairness is.
So, so that bringing up to this point, that motivated you then to come back to Bitcoin Z Classic, right? To somehow Bitcoin private, right?
Right. So what I realized so I actually really liked Bitcoin Cash. And one of the things that I really liked about Bitcoin Cash is I feel like it's, I used to innovate with Bitcoin. Like I said, I worked for a company that was trying to embed health records in the blockchain. Well, that's just not feasible at like $30 fees, right? We were thinking maybe this is like 10-cent fees or whatever.
Now, this might be biased, but we're in the Factom headquarters, and when you're talking about putting data onto the blockchain, you might consider Factom.
Yeah,
because that's what they specialize in.
Yeah, I mean, I need to do that. That would,
We're in their headquarters, so off camera, you might want to talk to them about that.
That's true.
I'm not plugging them or not, but we are in their headquarters, and that's what they do.
And it's a huge market.
Yeah.
Right. There's huge demand for that, and Bitcoin's just not a practical blockchain to do that in anymore. And so what I see now is there's all these projects that were trying to support Bitcoin and they can't anymore, and so they're starting to adopt Bitcoin Cash. And for me, I like innovation. I like building new things on top of a blockchain. A lot of people who like Bitcoin now, they just want to see it as like their store of gold or something they're never going to touch or move, right? And that's not that exciting to me. But going back to the Z Classic, what I just realized that the transparent addresses that Zcash and Z Classic use are the same type of addresses that Bitcoin uses. And Zcash and Z Classic have this zk-SNARK privacy technology, and we also have a lot of other great things, like we have 2 megabyte blocks that happen every 2.5 minutes. So people are telling me when they take Z Classic and they send it to an exchange, they get it in their wallet in like 5 or 6 minutes because they get a few confirmations. So from a user experience perspective, it's has a lot of advantages over Bitcoin, but it also, from a technical integration perspective, it's very similar because Zcash is based off of the Bitcoin code. So basically what I realized was that there are a lot of advantages to Bitcoin forks. Now, I was convinced, okay, these are advantageous. And one of the ways I started thinking about it was like, a few years ago when I was in crypto, there were altcoins came out. So there's like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Well, now actually when I talk to people know about Bitcoin and they know about Bitcoin Cash, right? And it's almost like the new altcoins. There are these Bitcoin forks. So when I've told people who are really new to Bitcoin, I said, I'm working on Bitcoin private. They're like, I like that.
Because I think it's Bitcoin.
It is a Bitcoin.
So you're borrowing the name recognition and branding from Bitcoin.
Right, and they get that, and it also, right, so you have like the name recognition, the branding, because something like, Monero or Zcash, like you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Is it how?
And you have to go buy it.
You have to go buy it, but then you don't know, like, is that going to be kind of like Bitcoin? Is it going to be, and so there's kind of a promise, I think, if you put Bitcoin in front of something, that it should behave similarly to Bitcoin, right?
Okay.